Yep. Inhale down. Now just through your feet. Arms just hold on.
There's only one city in America that isn't on Google Maps Street View, North Oaks. It's the wealthiest city in Minnesota.
From shady physical transformations to rumors of hidden cities, today's bizarre stories are definitely going to mess with your head. And by the end of this video, you're going to look at these so-called innocent news stories very differently. Of course, we're going to start with a video that shocked a lot of people.
Yep. Inhale down. Now just through your feet. Arms just hold on. There we go. Inhale. Through your feet. Come on, inhale. Push through your feet harder. Jumping. One more.
Now, we've all seen some of these so-called celebrities do insane things in old age. I mean, Dick Van Dyke was literally dancing up and down the red carpet well into his later years. But keep this in mind, just a few years ago, Oprah Winfrey was struggling just to walk in a straight line.
And balance doesn't mean all things are equal or at peace at all times. Wrong shoes.
And now, she somehow looks stronger, healthier, and way younger than she did before. Of course, she tried to explain it all away by saying it's just her genes.
All these years, I thought I was overeating. I was standing there with all the food noise, what I ate, what I should eat, how many calories was that, how long was it going to take. I thought that that was because of me and my fault. Yeah. Now I understand that if you carry the obesity gene, if that is what you have, that is what makes you overeat. You don't overeat and become obese. Right. Obesity causes you to overeat. Right. Obesity causes you to have all of that food noise. And what the GLP-1s have done for me, and I know a number of other people, is to quiet that noise. Yeah.
But people aren't buying it. Some say she's using a new kind of medication. Others think it's a clone or some next level diet. Either way, she looks like she's aging in reverse. And honestly, I wouldn't be shocked if one day we find out that she was the first person quietly testing Peter Thiel's so-called immortality experiments.
Yeah, transhumanism is this, the ideal was this radical transformation where your human natural body gets transformed into an immortal body. Is someone who changes their clothes and cross-dresses. The critique is not that it's weird and unnatural. It's so pathetically little. And okay, we want more than cross-dressing or changing your sex organs. We want you to be able to change your heart and change your mind.
But while Oprah's out here looking 30 years younger, not every celebrity is getting that same glow up. People were recently shocked by Ryan Seacrest's new appearance.
Congratulations.
Oh, thank you.
Amazing. It's big news. We've been holding this back the whole time in front of you. Right? She just said to me this morning, she sends me a text and she says to me, can we have a word when you come in? And I'm like, yeah, we can have a word. What's going on?
A lot of viewers are genuinely worried he might be dealing with some kind of illness. And then there's Angelina Jolie. People weren't just uncomfortable, they were confused. Not because of how she looked, but because no one could figure out what she was doing with her hands. Now, moving on, we need to talk about this massive new food recall.
Nearly 2,000 products were recalled after the FDA found rodent and bird contamination at a distribution facility. It's for grocery items like Cheerios, Skittles, and Pringles. Also pet food like Purina dog chow and Purina cat chow. And over-the-counter items like Advil, Benadryl, and Claritin. A full list is on the FDA's website. The FDA urges consumers to destroy affected products immediately and not return them. Refunds are available. Products distributed in Indiana, Minnesota, and North Dakota may pose health risks like salmonella, though no illnesses have been reported.
What's really strange is the timing. This announcement came after people had already bought huge amounts of this stuff in bulk because an insane storm was about to hit. And this is where the theories start getting interesting. I want to know what you guys think about this.
Not to be a conspiracy theorist or nothing, but did y'all notice how the government was talking about that nobody was spending enough money since Christmas and the economy was down?
Overall, broad consumer, they're pulling back. They're spending less money this year than last year. But it's a complex story. As we talked about earlier today, we can see that the top 10 to 20% of household earners in the USA are going to spend more. It's the bottom 50, 60, 70% that are holding back.
And then next thing you know, we was having a mystery winter storm and everybody had to hurry up and go to the store and buy a bunch of groceries real fast and spend up all the money that they didn't really have to stimulate the economy. It's just a coincidence that they was complaining about how nobody was spending money and then that the stock market had crashed and everything. And then next thing you know, we was having a winter storm and then everybody had to buy up everything and all the groceries had sold out and everybody spent all their money up on a bunch of stuff.
Because honestly, you can't blame people for thinking none of this was natural.
And New Yorkers have got to be scratching their heads saying, what's with the sixes? This is what I'm talking about. This is what I was working on, Gail, when I ran in here. Think about this. 1996, all right? We had a storm that delivered 20.2 inches, the fifth biggest in city history. 10 years later, 2006, we pick up our second biggest snowstorm ever, 26.9. 10 years after that, 2016, we pick up the biggest snowstorm in New York City history, 27.5. What does 10 years later, this Sunday, on 2026 hold? We shall find out, Gail.
Especially when you've got a cloud seeding CEO openly talking about a new formula for creating ice.
A lot of what we do right now is snowpack enhancement. So you find the water with the radar, you fly your drone up into these conditions, hope that it survives. You disperse the material. So we have this aerosol dispersion system that basically just emits individual particles that the water freezes onto. Yeah, so silver iodide. That is what has been used in one form or another for the last 60 years. Something that we're working on right now is totally organic material found in American soil that is biodegradable, that is more effective and actually costs less per gram than silver iodide.
When do you think you'll introduce the other agent?
January 2026.
Maybe it's a coincidence, but somehow this same guy always shows up right after major storms hit. And yet we keep seeing more and more cloud seeding across the US. Then everyone acts surprised when Americans don't trust the government anymore. Now, when it comes to product recalls, at least they're admitting these food items are not safe. With other products, though, people are forced to run their own tests just to figure out whether they're injecting toxins into their bodies or not.
My blood is absolutely boiling right now. If you're a parent, whatever you do, do not buy this toothpaste. My daughter's been getting headaches for the past 2 weeks. And we literally sent her to the doctor. They couldn't figure out what's going on. We have no idea what's going on. She's been going to the nurse multiple times a day. And come to find out, the videos that I've seen on TikTok are all true. There's literally lead in this toothpaste. I tested out all these other toothpastes to make sure that they were fine and they were clean. And none of the other ones came back with lead. But sure enough, the one that she's been using for the last 2 weeks, because I thought that it was healthy, I thought it was the healthier choice, that I would give her some clean toothpaste that didn't have all these artificial ingredients. And lo and behold, it has lead in it. It's lead. It's full of lead. This is insane, Toms. I've been giving my daughter toothpaste and my son toothpaste full of lead. And they've been going to the doctor with headaches. They've been going to the nurse with headaches every single day.
Now, I want to show you a video that's been going viral, and I really want to hear your thoughts on it.
I need somebody to help me understand. Now, this has been bugging me for a while now. So since 1990, I've done the research, okay? Approximately, give or take, over 90 million people have died in the United States of America. 90 million people since 1990. We're in 2026 now. I've been to a couple graveyards recently, and I realized when I went to the graveyards back when my grandfather passed away back in 1989, 1990-ish, versus now, and the graveyards haven't filled up. They haven't changed. I remember going as a kid seeing that like half of the graveyard was full. And then a couple other graveyards in my local area. But they haven't gotten any bigger. They haven't filled up. When was the last time you've seen a graveyard being built? I can't ever remember finding a new graveyard. I've actually looked it up. There are no new graveyards. They're the same graveyards with the same amount of bodies in them. If we've had 90 million people die since 1990, can someone explain to me, like a small child, where all the bodies are going? They say, oh, well, they're getting cremated, or, you know, they're doing, they're stacking the bodies, or they're recycling the plots. I don't buy it. Where are they going? And how come none of these cemeteries are full yet? They're not at max capacity. You don't ever see an out of order sign with the gates closed. There's always more space. They're always taking deposits for plots, but they're never filling up. I don't get it. Can someone explain to me what's going on with these cemeteries and where all the bodies are going?
Look, the reason we don't see many new cemeteries anymore probably isn't mysterious. It's because burials have gotten insanely expensive. So instead of asking why there are fewer graves, maybe we should be asking why the system pushes people into a choice where they either take out a loan to bury a loved one or choose cremation. Now, I want to end this video by covering another strange story. Apparently, a city called North Oaks has been completely wiped from Google Maps.
There's only one city in America that isn't on Google Maps Street View, North Oaks. It's the wealthiest city in Minnesota.
And look, he's not wrong. The city council actually forced Google to remove all of those images. They were able to do it because Google used vans and cars to film the area, and those were driving on private land. You see, there are no public roads in this city. Everything is privately owned.
The city is marked no trespassing, and there are cameras and license plate readers. That's because in North Oaks, your property line doesn't go to the end of the curb, it goes all the way into the center of the road, leaving behind no public roadways.
Now, credit where it's due, this guy didn't give up. No, he ended up using a drone instead to record the city, since the airspace is still public. And honestly, there's nothing visibly strange about it.
Here we go. Then I launched a drone from the public streets that border the city and took 360 photos from a camera dangling beneath the drone along every road to map the entire city from above.
It's a rich neighborhood, sure, but it's nowhere near the top tier of exclusivity. The average house price is around $1 million. That alone tells you this isn't some secret playground for billionaires. And that's exactly why people started coming up with wild theories. Some are even claiming this is where those so-called trillion-dollar tunnels are hiding.
Fiscal 1998 and fiscal 2015, there were 21 trillion of undocumentable adjustments in the U.S. government. If you go to our website, missingmoney.solera.com, we have years and years of documentation, including the government financials that show this. And so the question is, where's all this money going? And one of the things I've looked at in the process of looking at where all this money is going is the underground base and city infrastructure and transportation system that's been built. And
I'm sorry?
Yes. So we have built an extraordinary number of underground bases and supposedly transportation systems. Some of these are some of these are documented as part of the national security infrastructure. I think there are many more.
But in reality, the people who live there say it's much simpler than that. They just want privacy. And honestly, that's understandable, especially at a time when governments all over the world are pushing more surveillance, more tracking, and new forms of digital identification.
So February 1st, any passenger who's coming through the checkpoint, they don't have a real ID or another acceptable form of ID such as a passport, they'll have the option to pay a $45 fee to access TSA's new alternative identity verification system, which is called Confirm ID. You want to go online to tsa.gov, it'll link you to pay.gov. You can make a $45 payment and that will generate a receipt. And then you'll have a receipt either in your email, you can print it out or have a screenshot of it. But we want you to show that receipt when you get to the checkpoint. That tells the officer that you paid, and then you can have your identity verified and go through screening.